chance for us to make it through the night. Stormy weather, weary eyes, hope to make it through the night. Before this night is over, I will guide you home. All this time you thought we'd never pay the price. In the game of love, you have to roll the dice. My heart got 7 years to life. 7 years to life. I've been told that time will heal all our wounds and our sorrows too. No more clouds, no more rain. I need sun to ease my pain. Before this night is over, I will guide you home. All this time you thought we'd never pay the price. In the game of love, you have to roll the dice. My heart got 7 years to life. 7 years to life. All this time you thought we'd never pay the price.
Oh, there we go. No, man.
Yeah, you.
Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I think I know who made George's mask. I might have an idea on that. I might not. We'll see. How is everyone? I'm so glad to see you all. I've been missing you. You heard Cody Francis in the wild, Lenny? Oh my gosh. I have not yet, but I would probably freak out too. Like, that's our song. That's our song. Hello from all over. Oh my gosh, I can't believe, I know, George, Sky Guy had so much fun. That's the first Batman mask that he's done, so that was exciting for him. I can't believe that next week is February. Like, I am genuinely having a hard time wrapping my head around that. I don't know if you're in the same space, but it doesn't seem possible, not at all. Yeah, so we have so much to get to tonight, but I just want to hear how everyone is. See what's up, see what's new. Happy Tuesday. Clear and cold in MacArthur. Sharon, I know we took a little road trip to the Lost Coast last week. I think I shared a picture or two. I have so much to share with everyone in the weeks ahead. But it was 70 on the Northern California coast in January, which was a dream. It was beautiful. It was amazing. We got out. We did some awesome hiking, time on the beach, time in all of the towns that are a mashup for this new book, Lost Coast Literary. But it was also a little scary. Like, it should not be 70 on the beach in Northern California in January. That part I didn't love, but otherwise it was great. It's almost Christmas again. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, Valerie, you caught COVID for your birthday. That is not a birthday present you want. I hope that you're feeling okay and are resting up and taking it easy and drinking all the fluids and the whole thing. The tech guy and I got our boosts right before Thanksgiving, right? But Sky Guy, our teen, just got his his booster over the weekend finally. So he was feeling the effects of that last night, but he bounced back, no problem. I had so much fun, Trisha. Although I was messaging back and forth with Trisha, she invited me to come talk to her class, and I have no idea what I said because I am up early on the West Coast, but I realized, like, even though I wake up at 5:30, I'm just sort of usually like under a blanket with my coffee reading for a while. So I have to apologize. I was probably a blubbering mess, but they're so cute and they're so young. And then I realized, like, oh, that's going to be Sky Guy next year. So of course they're young. Sarah, it was 70 in Arizona. Is that a little more normal than Northern California, Southern Oregon? I'm not sure. Taylor, it does feel like 2020. Again, I am with you. It feels like we're in Groundhog Day, right? Lynn, the force has not been with you this week. I'm so sorry. This is the place for you to be. This group is, I'm just always so touched and humbled by all the connections that we've made together and how supportive everyone is. And I was just giving a talk a week or so ago about social media to a younger group of writing students. And I do think there's something to be said of like what you put out is what you get back, which is not to say that I don't have haters. And there are certainly people who don't love my books and write scathing reviews or, like whatever it is. Why are you laughing at that?
Because some of the scathing reviews are fun.
Yeah, so we need to do another mean review because my favorite one is this. This reader, this was many years ago, claimed that I had said that Leavenworth was at 200,000 feet or like 100,000 feet or something.
Yeah, you were talking about the number of social media followers. One of the
yeah, that's right. Yeah, but they were just incensed that I would think that a town would be that high, and clearly I had never been there before. Where I want to be like, actually, I have. But anyway, I digress. That's not my point. My point is, I'm just always so touched that I think if you put the right energy out into a space, you reflect that back, and I love that happens with all of us. So thank you always for that gift. 2 shots and a booster, and you've caught it. Oh, Valerie, okay. Oh, how are you feeling though? Did that come through? Sorry. Even your Buffalo Melmac is saying 50, 60, 70 degrees in January. Yeah, we do sometimes get like a fake spring here in Southern Oregon, which we're in, but we're supposed to get rain again. So I'm happy about that. Yeah. We are the cool kids, Jamie. Yeah, we're not the haters. We're the cool kids. Ottawa, Andra, that is freezing. -28. Woo, you're chilly. You need my scarf tonight. Suyin, I would totally come talk to your students. I don't know. Ask Trisha. She'll be like, no, don't have her because she doesn't know what she's saying. Okay, so I put together a list of questions that have either come in via email. A few of these questions I get frequently. And then I pulled a few that we didn't get to from one of the earlier lives this year, now that we're at the end of January. But if you have other questions or just things you want to chat about tonight, shoot them in the comments. Either put a Q, that's not a Q, a Q or a question mark ahead of your question so the tech guy can put them into a separate little place. I don't understand the need to leave nasty reviews. Can people just say it's not their cup of tea? I know. Right. That's actually one of the things we're going to talk about tonight.
Everything's so subjective.
It is. It's always subjective. And what doesn't, what might not resonate at the moment might later or whatever, but it's fine. I'm just saying, like, in general, when I was talking to this group of young writers, it was so fun to talk about the fact that, like, yeah, you don't have to be as scared about the hate, because if that's not what you're putting out into the world, you're not going to reflect it back. And then, like, you don't have to take it in either. You can have a boundary. The tech guy's raising his hand.
Yes. I just raised my hand so I don't interrupt. I've seen a few reports of freezing on Facebook, so if anybody wants to jump over to YouTube or Twitter, we're live there, and I'm gonna go call Mark Zuckerberg right now.
Are you okay? Yeah, you're gonna put in a call. Okay.
We'll find out what's going on there. I don't know. I mean, it's a Facebook thing. Is all I can say. But,
I know. Yeah. Sometimes it does that, right? Chase, you're halfway through Bake, Borrow, and Steal. I love it. Yay. You need something delicious to go with that for sure. This is totally an aside because we got off on the topic of like hate on social media and reviews, but I got back the first trade review for Lost Coast Literary, and it's from the San Francisco Book Review, and they raved about it, and they gave it 4.5 stars. So that's always so exciting. Like, yay!
Sorry, my button.
Yay! I feel like I did when my first book came out, because this is a totally new project for me. So I'm like, oh, yeah. Anyway, questions. That's what we're going to do tonight, or whatever else you want to talk about, etc., etc. All right, so let's get right to it. First one. This one came up a lot because I've been talking about Lost Coast Literary, and I think I freaked some people out. Yes, yes, yes. There are many, many, many more bake shop mysteries. In fact, the next book in the series comes out at the end of June, Donut Disturb. I just heard from my publicist that Barnes & Noble is doing like a 3-day pre-order sale. So if you're someone who likes to pre-order, you could go pre-order it and save. I can't remember what the savings is, but they're doing a huge pre-order sale. So yes, there will be more Bake Shop mysteries. Sometimes in the back of the Bake Shop series, there's a teaser for what's to come. And for whatever reason, that didn't get included in the last one. I think it was the pandemic and stuff got lost in the shuffle with COVID. But I have received a lot of reader feedback that's very unhappy about the fact that there might not be more bake shops coming. And I promise there are. I just delivered book 16 this last week to my editor, and I will be starting in on book 17 later this spring. Book 17 is going to be a Halloween book that's going to be set at Ashland's Halloween Parade. So yes, there's lots more baking, there's more recipes, all the good stuff is coming. Don't panic.
This one's funny to me because like you tell them all the time, but I know how much you love this series.
Yeah.
And like, I can say without a doubt that as long as they want you writing the series, you will write it. And even they being the publisher.
Sure.
And even after they say no, you'll probably still write it, because for everyone listening, we've lived here for 5 years now. And when we go to the downtown, there's still every other month you're like, hey, let's go to Tort. When you really mean Mix,
Totally.
the real bakery.
Yeah.
But she thinks we live in Jules Ashland. It's
I do.
awesome.
I do like to pretend that it's an extension of my imaginary world. Yeah. Okay. So more bake shops. Hooray for that. There's more Jules. There's more Lance. I'm also excited because there's so much more that I want to do with these characters in terms of growth arcs. So I'm excited that you also feel attached to these fictional people. So that's the answer for that one. Okay. What's up next, Tech Guy?
Sorry, I was flagging all the questions that are coming in. Here's the next one.
Okay, here's the next one. Will there be more Sloane Krause mysteries? This also has been top of mind because I shared that this series did not get renewed, which was a super bummer for me. But then I realized, Amy, this is for you. I realized, wait a minute. I'm already starting my own press. Like, that was in the works long before this happened. So the answer to that question is yes. I'm working on a special Sloane that's going to be a short that's going to come out in May. And then I'm working on a full-length Sloane holiday. So think of all the Bavarian delights for Leavenworth in the holiday season. Leavenworth is amazing anyway. I talk a little bit in, I think, Without a Brew about the lights and the snow and everything like that. So stay tuned for that later this fall. I'm so excited because, again, with Sloane, there are so many more things that I want to do, really with her backstory too, that I had sketched out and then kind of had this pivot. But now I'm like, yes. So that's the short answer. Yes. Yay. I love both of them like sisters. They're very different to me. Jules is a little more, well, she's so romantic, right? She's so ethereal and so in her head and into the beauty of food and the romance. Always like there's that level of Jules. And Sloane to me just feels like she's a little bit grittier. Not in a hard way, but just in like, she's a little more grounded, you know, like I kind of feel like Jules is up here in the clouds and Sloane is like down on the earth. And so I love that balance as a writer because I never, knock on wood, I've never had a problem mixing them up to date because they feel very separate and unique to me. I also just have this deep attachment to Sloane's sort of origin story and history and her growth because she grew up in the foster care system, but she's not broken, and she's really built a community. And I love telling that story. So I'm excited because I have more that I want to tell you about her. So yay. All right, what's up next, sir? What do we got? Oh yeah, this has been coming up a lot. Okay, so is Lost Coast Literary a cozy? It is not a cozy in the way that we think of cozy mysteries. If you have read any of my books and my writing, I cannot take the cozy like out of my writing because it's like the core of my voice and who I am. And it's also the stories that I want to tell. So in Lost Coast Literary, you're going to get all of the coziness. There's a beautiful seaside town with funky shops and this connection of a community on the Lost Coast of California, which is really a mashup of Ferndale and Eureka and Arcata. It's a mashup of all these places that I sort of mixed together to create my fictional town of Cascada. It's really a story for book lovers. All of the books that I have loved over the years have made it into this book, which feels like just the best tribute possible to my love for books. But really, so there's that. And then there's a touch of food writing because I can't escape that either. There's some little like Easter eggs to my mysteries. There's a mysterious element, but there's no body. There's no crime to solve. Emily, the protagonist in this book, is on a journey really of self-discovery and finding herself. And so that's kind of the story that we're chasing in this one. When I set out to write it, I didn't think of it becoming a series. I thought of it as just sort of a one-off book. But I also have some ideas of what could happen with a book too. So I don't know. I'm not ruling it out that at some point in time there might not be a second book or it couldn't be something else. But maybe, yeah.
We're going to mute it for a second. I'm going to have you move that mic because I see people. Okay. Now let's see if the popping stops. If it doesn't, then so those that were hearing the popping, well, you got to be talking.
I have to be talking. I know it's probably because I was like.
I think it was because your scarf was moving.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we moved it. Technical difficulties.
We'll see if it works. But yeah.
Okay. All right. We're feeling it. Okay. So what was I saying? I could imagine. I have an idea of where book 2 could take us with Emily's story. But I also have a lot of other things that I want to write. So we'll see where my energy is drawn and go from there. You think
I know,
it sounds better?
People say it's fixed and other people are still hearing it. I don't know. I got to get Mark back on the phone.
Okay, so. Yeah, get on the line with Mark Zuckerberg. Let's go.
Still popping. It's all good. Popping or not, love that. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Okay.
We're popping popcorn in the background, Paula. It's just like a party. I don't know. Is it my earrings? Is it me?
No. I don't know. Well,
okay.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not terrible.
Sorry. Yeah, so that's kind of the long and short of Lost Coast Lit. At the moment, it is a standalone. It has all the cozy vibes, but no body, no crime, no suspects to chase down. Yeah. All right, what's next? Do you really bake everything from your books? Oh my gosh, I get this question. I don't even know how often. Yes, I really do. I really do. I have friends who are cozy authors, mystery authors who don't bake. So you could totally, if you're thinking of writing a mystery or writing something, you don't have to be a baker or prolific at whatever else you're going to weave into your writing to be successful. But I personally, baking is a hobby. It's also an addiction. Like if I don't go a few days without baking, I'm like, I got to get in the kitchen. So yes, I do bake. Everything that ends up in the Bake Shop books, I have tested multiple times. Usually the neighborhood is tested and tried. A lot of recipes initially in the series were family recipes. And then as time has gone on, I've had to hunt down new stuff and do more practicing. All right, let's see what's next. What's your most popular recipe? Okay, this one is easy. Hands down, the most popular, well, I should say the most requested recipe of all time to date is for Berlin bars. Mm-hmm. Berlin bars made an appearance in the Sloane Krause mysteries, and those do not have recipes in them, which I think is the next question, is it not? Why don't the Sloane Krause mysteries have recipes? Which is another thing that I get asked very often. When we were first working through the idea, my editor and I had come up with a list of these very Bavarian, beerish, Pacific Northwest inspired recipes that we were going to put in the books. Then they decided to publish them in hardcover. And so because they were in hardcover, they ended up not including recipes. I don't know why. I don't understand that side of publishing in terms of like traditional big publishing house stuff.
Pay more for less.
I don't know. I don't know if it was like page space because the books are bigger. But anyway, the long and short of it is recipes weren't included. But what's going to be exciting is with this new holiday mystery that's going to be out in November, I am going to put in all of the recipes, or not all of them, but I will include some of the recipes like Berlin bars. Berlin bars I make every year with my dad. He made them every year growing up, usually sometime in the spring. I don't know why. But they're like an almond buttery shortbread with dark chocolate and raspberry and toasted almonds. They're amazing. I have shared the recipe multiple times, but if you want it, hit me up.
Oh, that's a great question.
Do you think the hardbacks hurt the Sloane series? Definitely, Taylin. It's 100%. Such a hard price point. Get it? Because, then you're asking a reader to spend $29, $30 on a book that otherwise might be like $8. The nice thing about hardcovers is libraries buy a lot of them. And so that part is good because they're hardier. Unless you have somebody like me who takes books in the bath. They tend to do well in libraries. But what I'm excited about for doing the series on my own is then I can put it into some sort of paperback form and have recipes. So hopefully the price point is going to come down a little bit for the start. Oh, and that's the other thing. With the hardcover, they come out and then it's usually like a year later before it comes out in the paperback. So yeah. Okay, what's next? What else have we got? Oh, okay, yeah. I love that the tech guy, he color-coded these because I had some like lists of questions, like recipe questions, book questions. These are writer questions that have come in. This one is so interesting to me. Have I ever met a mean author at a writer's conference? And honestly, not really. When I've met my author idols in real life, they've all been incredible. And I will say, especially in the mystery writing community, I can't really speak outside of that because when I was first attending writers' conferences that were more global in terms of genre, this was pre-writing. I was learning how to write and I was going out to all the workshops and everything like that. As a writer, everything that I've attended has been a mystery convention. And I find that the mystery writers are the best. Like they're all just pretty down to earth and fun and everything like that. So no, every time I have met my idols at a mystery convention, they've just been even more lovely and wonderful in person than I could ever imagine. The one thing, and this is a true story that I will tell from early on when I was, I can't remember, it was one of the conferences here in the Pacific Northwest. I don't remember which one, and it probably doesn't matter. But there was someone who was pitching. You can do these agent sessions where you pitch for like 5 minutes, right? You sign up for these pitch sessions and agents come to conferences and if you're ready to kind of pitch your idea, you get 5 minutes. And so And sometimes you sign up for a one-on-one with an agent, and sometimes there's a roundtable session. So you'll sit literally at a round table, and there'll be like 5 or 6 authors, and you go around the table and everyone does their pitch. Well, there was a writer who was yet to be who was yet to be published, who was just horrible to everyone who was pitching, because usually, like, it takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there, especially in front of strangers, and pitch an idea and a book that you have worked on and loved, or just, imagine that. Like, you're in front of all these people who you don't know, and you're pitching your baby. So everyone was just so lovely and supportive. Like, even maybe if the idea for whatever somebody else was pitching didn't necessarily resonate or sound like, I think one of the guys was pitching a Western, and I don't typically read Westerns, but I was like all in for him. And if that book had sold, or if he published it, like, I would have gone and bought that book in support, because it's just like, you're so vulnerable. Anyway, there was one writer who was vile the whole time, just like so snobby and rude to everyone. And the agent was already at the table. And this writer had come in late and not realized it, because the agent happened to, usually, like, there's a little place card or whatever with the agent's name and their agency and all that. But the agent had moved chairs. And this writer was also awful to the agent, just obnoxious. Like, you could make this writer be like a Richard Lord type, where you're thinking, is this real life? Come on, what's happening? Anyway, long story short, once they got around to this writer's chance to pitch, their face just sort of dropped when they realized that one of the people they had been tremendously rude to was actually the agent they were intending to pitch. And I will say, at this table, the agent requested materials from every single one of us except for that person. So there you go. What you put out in the world is what you get back.
That's not the story I thought it was going to be.
No.
I thought you were going to tell the story of the dude that pitched in a cape.
Yeah, that's also, that also happened.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
First, we got to bounce out, because I think Melmac has the new tagline for Lost Coast. No
bodies.
No, that's not it.
Oh, that's
no
not
bodies
it.
in Lost Coast Library. So Cascada is much safer than Charles Ashton
Totally.
and Sloan's Level.
Cascada's just like smooth sailing. You don't need to worry.
Right.
You go to the letterpress, you get a pint, you're good to go. That's hilarious. It's true. Mary, yes, the writer should have been dressed in gaudy golf clothing for sure. No, it was like a real life Richard Lord experience, where I did think for a minute, like, are we on because I just, if you are in that situation, I think, you the angst that everybody's feeling. And now I got, which side is it?
Side,
This writer was awful to all of us. So anyway, okay.
Okay, let's see.
That's my mean writer story, but not writers who I have loved. Like, oh, this one's a good one. I'm writing my first book and have a book review blog. Should I stop posting reviews? Okay, so this person is asking, like, they have been out there sharing reviews. That's what they do. They're blogging, but now they're shifting and they're writing themselves. So I don't think that you have to stop doing reviews, but I do think, going back, same idea, right, to this table where we were all colleagues. If you think about your fellow authors out there in the world, these are your colleagues. And I think that's the best way to treat that concept. I think a lot of people embrace the idea of, like, oh, it's competition somehow. No, we're colleagues. So I would treat a review of a fellow colleague the way you might treat somebody in a professional meeting, per se. You're probably not, if you're in a meeting all together in person or on Zoom or whatever, for some other industry, you're probably not going to, like, rake your colleague over the coals.
Unless you're in advertising.
Unless you're in advertising, the tech guy says, yeah, right, it's true. But in general, you're probably going to be professional. So I would say I would take the lens of professionalism. For me, in terms of being an author and also being a reviewer, it gets sometimes a little bit tricky. I will never share anything negative about a book. I just won't. That's my baseline. I don't think it's my job. If I have read a book and I haven't enjoyed it or it hasn't resonated with me, I'm not going to talk about it. It's like that old adage, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I'm also not going to lie and talk up a book that for whatever reason didn't resonate with me, because I also feel like we have a trust together, right? That I'm not going to come on and say like, oh my gosh, I love this book. No, I didn't. I really hated it. From being authentic, I think it's important to share your feelings. But my personal slant is, if I love a book, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to tell my friends about it. I'm going to share it. I'm going to do whatever I can. If I didn't love a book, I'm not going to share that out with the world. I'm just going to put it on my shelf or pass it on to a friend or a little free library, because I also know, and we've talked about this a lot, sometimes it's where you're at in the moment. I've had multiple books where I haven't really loved it, and then I've gone back and adored it later, which can happen. And then sometimes it's not a book for you, and I'm okay with that. But I also understand the inordinate amount of work that goes into writing a book and editing that book and putting it out in the world. And then just being vulnerable and putting yourself out there to pitch to an agent or, anything like that. So, no, what?
And it's subjective. Like, it is.
That guy gets more upset than I do about it. But
it makes me crazy. It's like, just because somebody doesn't like something doesn't mean it's not somebody else's favorite book.
Somebody else might totally love it. Absolutely. But I don't think you need to abandon, especially if you're already doing something bookish in the world. Keep doing that, but just like maybe think about the lens and think about it being your colleague. Like, if then, let's say you want to write, I don't know what you're writing, but let's say you're writing a mystery and you show up at that mystery conference and you've just, written the worst, horrible review, and then you're seated on a panel with that same author. I mean, there could be murder there. I don't know. That's a story.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Jennifer was 5 feet from RBG.
What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
awesome.
Okay, that is amazing. First of all, Jennifer, I bow down to you just for being that close.
Yeah.
That's how I was with Sue Grafton. I met her, which is, like Sue Grafton and RGB. But I lose all ability to form a sentence when I meet someone who I have loved. Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I never leave less than 3 stars. If I didn't like it, I probably didn't finish the book. So yeah, I love that, Jerry. That's a great lens to take, I think. Yeah, because anything that's 3 stars or up, you're like, okay, I enjoyed it, and if I didn't finish it, it wasn't for me. Yes. Okay.
Next one.
Oh, Beach Bum Bookworm wants to know if I finished one of the books from last week. I loved it. Love and Saffron. Yes. Love and Saffron, Kim Fay. Phenomenal. So great. Can't recommend it enough. Amazing.
Hated it. Wouldn't read it again.
It was the worst thing. No. Because that clip will somehow be the clip.
No, it's a joke.
No, I know,
Just joking. Okay. All right, there's your next question.
What advice do you have for someone trying to market their book? Oh my gosh. We could do like 27,000 sessions on this. I would just think, publishing.
And we will if we ever get time.
Yeah, I know. We've thought about trying to find a way to do a marketing course with the Tech Guys ad experience. It would be great, but we're a 2-person team, and we always have way more ideas than time in the day. Although the kid's going off to college next year, so maybe.
This is an aside.
I would not have been able to form a sentence when chatting in the flesh. That's so funny. Not at all. Well, I'm not famous, so there's also that. Okay, marketing your book. Publishing, like anything else, I always say this, it's a long game. Meaning the odds of you writing a book, selling the book and having it be just like a smashing overnight success. It's kind of like winning the lottery. Could it happen? Sure. Does it happen very often? No. Just because, like with every other industry, you put in the time and the effort. But I think my best piece of advice in terms of marketing is to show up and be yourself. Like, share what you love, hopefully make real connections like we do here, and take off the pressure of needing to compare. One of my favorite quotes is, comparison is the thief of joy. So just like run in your own lane, and just understand that it's slow and that you're also getting to do creative work in the world. So that's amazing. Like, embrace that, and then the rest will hopefully come in time. But I know that marketing can be very overwhelming, to say the least.
Real quick, Susan said that it was hard to read, so hopefully that's better.
Oh, okay. Susan, the tech guy is on it. He's not messing around.
Okay.
Okay. What else have we got?
I gotta change this one.
Oh, he's going to change this one while I answer.
Yeah.
So the question is traditional or independent publishing better? And my answer is kind of the same. I don't think there's a better option. There are pros and cons to any path you take to publication. I think sometimes the root of that question is also sort of like, what's the easier fix? And they're really the same. You're going to do the same amount of work. It's just going to be different. You know, it's going to be whether or not you're the one figuring out who's going to design the covers and doing the publicity work in the background, or if you're going to have somebody at the publishing house that's going to do that for you. But either or, unless you're a celebrity or you have that like 1 in a million overnight success, the reality is either path, you're gonna do a lot of the work, which is fine. I think if you embrace that and understand it, again, it takes a lot of that pressure off to be like, oh my gosh, you know. Yeah. So, and it might change. Maybe it's that initially independent publishing is your better option, and then you shift and you go traditional, or vice versa. It could be an option of both. I feel like I know a lot of my colleagues and friends who are sort of doing this hybrid path right now. A hybrid path right now, which I kind of think could be the wave of the future or the wave of right now. We'll see. But there are pros and cons to both. You might be spending a little money out up front in independent publishing, but you probably have a chance of making that back faster, because traditional publishing you might get in advance, but you're going to wait a long time before you see royalty sales, and then you have to earn that back. I mean, yeah, we could talk for 2 days about all of this, but yeah, I don't think that it's going to be figuring out the path that's right for you. Okay. Oh, it's good for him, Valerie. Good job.
Don't worry about me, Valerie. Like you guys would have to really pour it on to equal what I go through every day for work. Not for her, but right. My other clients. Yeah. All right.
What do you like to read when you're not writing? Everything. Literally. I mean, I know that's a lame answer, but everything. I read historical fiction. I read magical realism. I read
the dark
books about books. I don't read the dark stuff that the tech guy reads. I'm pretty much a chicken. I don't read a lot of really dark. Although
you did like Murderbot.
I did love Murderbot. I loved Devolution. That was fantastic. Yeah. I can go there, but that's not my sweet spot probably. Right. But yeah, pretty much anything I can get my hands on, for sure.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite book of all time? Whoa. Oh, this one is so hard. No, I mean, I usually love the book that I'm in.
Has Taylor Swift written a book yet?
If Taylor Swift had written a book, that would be my favorite book of all time. She's going to write a book. I feel it. I have like nostalgia books, like the Betsy Tassie Tibbs series is like a childhood favorite. So I have books that kind of take me back to a place. I love the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society. I love Jane Austen. I mean, there are so many. But But I Capture the Castle. I could go on and on. But I don't know that I have one particular book. Like if I had to pick a desert island read, I would have a hard time for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We have
so many. Lot, yeah. Okay. All right. Lay them on me.
Well, I mean, where do you want to start?
Just pick one. You do it. I can't see. Lynn Marie says the best way to hunt down an agent. Let's do that one. Okay. Research. Do your research because agents represent not specific genres, but for the most part. So you can do research in terms of looking at the acknowledgments of a book and go, oh, okay, this book that I really enjoyed that feels similar in style to what I'm writing was represented by this agent. Ooh, that might be a good starting point. There's a great site called Agent Query where you can go and find lists of agents and what they're searching for. My big talking point to you for this is make sure you follow exactly to the letter the guidelines of what they want. Do not send mass emails out, and make sure you're doing your due diligence and research when you're looking for an agent. Okay.
We can't use names, but this one, I like this one because...
Jerry, I'm an indie author. I have a 1-star review from Andrea on my first book. She also left a 1-star review on my second book. Why did she read the second? I know. Yeah. I have a reviewer who has also done that for I don't know, dozens of my books. I don't know. It's a good question. I try to just let that go because the thing is, at the end of the day, reviews are not for us as the writers. They are there for the readers. So I just try to let those go as much as you can because you're not going to change that reviewer's opinion and it's not worth wasting your time over. Yeah. Do you have any plans, ideas for a future cozy series? Melmac, I do. We, the tech guy and I have been collaborating on a cozy series that is going to be called The Beckman Falls. We finally landed on that series. It's going to be set in a fictional take of Jacksonville here in Southern Oregon, and it's going to feature a young duo who, a guy and a girl. So we're going to have a team this time. Kind of like Agatha Christie's Tommy and Tuppence, sort of a little bit older. But anyway, that is going to be coming out later this fall. Late summer, early fall. Yeah. Beach Bum, would I ever put together a tour cookbook? I would love to. Would you ever make a cookbook with all the recipes?
Somebody else asked about if you do a cookbook for... Sloan.
For Sloan. Yeah, no, but so the new Sloans will have recipes, so that'll be good. I would love at some point to do a cookbook. I would just want it to look like the way I envision Tort in my head. And that's not necessarily my skill set. So we would have to find the right pastry chef and photographer. And I would want it to feel like if you opened this cookbook, you were physically stepping into Tort. I don't want it to just be text and one picture and text and one picture. I want it to be the Tort experience. That's what I'm putting out into the world. So yes, at some point in time, I'm going to make that happen. But in the short term, maybe not so much. Yes, the map is here. I don't know if you can see it.
It's behind your head.
Behind me. Oh, yeah. It's right
other way.
There
you go.
There it is. That's the little version. I got proofs back and that's too small. So they're making a new proof that's going to be a little bit bigger and then it's going to be postcard size too. So that should be ready in the next week or so. I promise I will share it as soon as it is.
Oh, here's a related question to the new cozy series.
Are we able to order or pre-order Murder Strikes Back? That's the first book in the Beckman Falls series. Not yet, but soon. Yeah, we're working on all of that. So that's the plan. So I would hope that it's going to be up for pre-order in the next month or two. Initially, the idea was to release it on May the 4th, but this Sloan opportunity came about. So there's going to be a Sloan short that's going to come out in early May, and then Murder Strikes Back is going to be end of summer, early September, and then another Sloan. So yeah. Aren't the book recipes on your website?
Some of them. Says we're piling on the tech guy tonight.
I know.
That guy,
come on. What are you doing with your life?
Yeah. So we launched a new website.
It's like he has another job or something.
Right. They're getting there. I think actually Berlin bars might be up there.
Oh, they could be. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Let's see. Sure. Hand one over. Will we do another collaboration like we did in the pandemic? That was so much fun. I would love to. Yeah, I've been thinking about my plan for like February and March with social. We mapped out that this time it's murder. So the tech guy and I are going to be working on that in the next couple weeks. So that'll be first. But then, yeah, I would love to. If you all want to do one again, I'm game. Bring it on.
Yes.
I'm very glad you decided to continue Sloan Story. Yes. Yes, that one's going to be published with Sweet Lemon Press for sure. Let's see. Have you ever had writer's block? Oh, Stephanie, that's such a good question. I try not to embrace the idea of a writer's block because I think it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And this could also be because I love words, and I think we all do. And so that idea of blocked feels so negative to me. And I also think in other professions, you don't see other people getting blocked. I did a video about this a while ago, but it's like, a teacher doesn't show up and go, oh, I'm blocked. I don't know, Trisha, maybe you did this morning. I'm blocked. I can't teach today. Or, like a doctor, I'm blocked. I can't do surgery. A baker, I'm blocked. I can't bake. It's like you just sort of do it. And I think the same is true for writing, because at the end of the day, it's a job. This is my profession. And so that does not mean that I don't have days where words are just not flowing at the same way, or I'm not getting the story. But for me, I set a word count goal every day, and that sort of forces me to hit that goal. So it's kind of like, no, I have to write 500 words, or I have to write 1,000 words, or whatever it is. And I don't really give myself permission to be blocked. That's my strategy. I have writer friends who are the opposite, who are like, no, if I'm not feeling it, I just don't write. So it might be figuring out what works for you. But in general, I try not to embrace the idea of being blocked. What's that?
So delay your class.
Yeah, that's awesome. Smart move. I love it. What else have we got?
Right there.
Sure. Oh, sorry. I'm curious how you find an illustrator for your books. Oh, Becky, that's a great question. So for my Bake Shop and Sloan Mysteries, SMP Macmillan, my publisher, has done all of that. I will usually, what would happen is, and what does still happen, is I send in an idea for the book, kind of time of year, what sort of theme is going on. And then they create the cover. And I get some input, but very little. So it's been a totally different experience with Lost Coast Literary, because this time, because it's our publishing house, I'm doing all of that. So I am lucky enough that I happen to know an amazingly talented artist here in Ashland, Jennifer Ann Nelson, who I had already known of her work and been following her. And so when the idea started to really come to fruition, I reached out to her and said, hey, would you be willing to do this project together? And I'll show you. I just saw her yesterday. This is the actual illustration that she did by hand. And we did a few iterations of just sort of minor changes. Ooh, isn't it beautiful? I'm going to frame it. And then this ended up getting scanned in, and the title and all the good stuff goes over the top. So this is our fake book, because the actual books are coming this week, I believe, but that's what it looks like for the book. So it's been a totally different process for me, and I'm just fascinated by the ability, well, Su Yin's on here. I'm fascinated by artists' ability to take that imagery and bring it to life on the page. It is not something that I can do on my own, for sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Speaking of Su Yin, she had
you
cool
should
idea.
make a book with recipes we submit. Oh, that would be super fun. And you see Jules try our recipes. I would love that. Let's do that. Okay, let's totally do that. I'm in for that.
Wait, there
okay.
was one, and I saw, where did it go? Oh yeah, this one.
How did you make the decision to move to writing full time? Oh yeah, Jennifer, that's a good question. Um, I freaked out at first, you know. I think it was really after probably how many books had been published. It was certainly not the first year or two of writing. It took, like I'm saying, it being a long game, it took a while, a good few years of feeling like, okay, I'm still selling books, I'm still getting contract renewals, I'm starting to make a little money on royalties. But I will say, you know, like initially for most new authors, it's a rarity that you can write and not have some sort of other job and or partner or other source of income. I think it's something like the average book makes less than $2,000 a year, which again is why like I am never going to put anything out about my colleagues' work being horrific, because you know it's not as if most writers are bringing in millions of dollars, myself still included. So yeah. Are any of your books on audio? You keep looking and haven't found them in the libraries. Oh, Judy, you just might need to do a request to your library. All of the Bake Shop now, and I think Sloan up until Cure, but Cure should be coming out soon. They're all on audio. And I'm working on audio for Lost Coast Literary as we speak. So yes, if your library doesn't have it on audio, you can always request, which is great because they're so good. Renee, will you please remind us where we can buy your signed books? If you want a signed copy of the new book of Lost Coast Literary, you can go to my Ellie Alexander page, and there's a link there to buy directly, and I'm going to sign all of those and send those out. Otherwise, I maybe we'll be doing some bookstore visits by the spring. Who knows? You know, usually I'm out a lot more at independent bookstores signing stock, but in the short term. Stupid COVID, exactly.
That actually segues into this.
Are you doing any virtual bookstore events for the launch? Yes, I've got quite a lot of bookstore events planned. And actually next Friday, which is February 4th, I'll be sure to share it. My friend Marty Wingate and I are doing a joint event with Third Place Books in Seattle, and that's going to be virtual because we're celebrating the release of her new book. So that'll be awesome. Okay, I remember reading a short story when Jules and Sloan met at a festival, Ashland. I want to read it again now that you know Sloan. Okay, yes. So that's called Trouble is Brewing. In fact, the tech guy just put a little novellas section on the website. So far, Trouble is Brewing, Sloan and Jules met. It's a very, very short story. It was really just a teaser to introduce the Sloan Krause series. And then there are, I think, the first couple chapters of Death on Tap, the first book in that series. And then A Brunch with Death and Final Draft, the ones that we collaborated on together, are now up too. So you can grab those. Chase wants to know if they'll be available on Apple Books.
So the short answer is no.
Not for these.
For the collaborations, but you'll be in touch.
Yes. Well, and the Sloan longer novellas, the one that's going to come out in May, and then the actual mystery, the holiday mystery, those will be available everywhere. It's just for these shorts, it's trying to figure out how to actually share them. But we will also have them up as PDF, so you could read that on that. Terry, is your Writers Academy good for beginning writers, or is it best to have at least a few rough drafts? I think it's beautiful for new writers. I hope that I take you through, I hope it's good for new writers. I would love to hear from the group, but we have writers who have certainly written some stuff. We have a couple writers in the group who have already published books, and then we have a lot of writers who this is their first time. I would say the majority of our group are first-time writers, which has been such a joy, and I can't even not have my cheeks hurt from smiling. I can't take any credit for it. It's this weird thing. I don't want to say I'm proud of them. I am so proud of them, but they're doing all the work, so I don't want to take credit for it. But it's so fun to see everyone's progress and story ideas. So yes, absolutely. Come join us. Or if you're just writing on your own, please keep writing, like always. Paula, I am using Jennifer Ann for the Beckman Falls series, and we just had coffee yesterday, and I saw the first sketches, and I can't wait to share them. They're going to be awesome. Andrew wants to know, when editing and revising, do you write a new draft from a blank document or make adjustments? Love the nitty gritty. Yes. Okay. So for me, I print out my first draft and I let it sit for a while. Like I walk away from it. I get some space from it. I come back and I physically edit the tangible paper draft the first time through. And then after that, everything else I do is in the Word doc or it's all digital. I might take some notes in the process, but I usually touch a manuscript another 3 or 4 times. And so I'm not rewriting every single time, like physically rewriting the book. Although I have writer friends who will go back through and like type the whole thing because they feel like in that process, they catch things and they understand more of the story. So I think that's a fascinating technique. It's not my process, but it's totally worth exploring. And then I also have writer friends who everything is just digital. You know, they never are printing out a hard copy of a manuscript. I think because I grew up with the kinesthetic piece of writing, I need that for myself. But really, in terms of editing, I think more than anything, it's about finding the process that works for you. And it might be some trial and error. You might have to do a few different versions and go, oh, that worked. Oh, no, that doesn't work for me. Or I'm going to take these pieces and I'll borrow this and this. And yeah.
I've got to get some comments in here about your author.
Oh, Sharon, yay. Yes, absolutely. Yes. They're all crushing it too. No, I'm not taking credit for you. No, you're doing the work. It's just that weird thing, you know, even like with, I don't know, there's something about like, I don't know if it's just semantics for me, but that idea of like being proud, like being so proud. And, it's like having kids out in the world, you know, where you're like, oh my gosh, they're doing it. But I'm not doing it. You are the ones doing word count and all that stuff. So yes. Oh, come on, Lillian, you're going to make me cry.
You're bringing it with
I know.
the questions tonight. That's a great one.
Will you always be using Ellie Alexander for your upcoming books? Oh, Taylin, yeah, I love that question. Yes. Yes. It's ironic because, you know, when I first started out writing, I didn't think I would ever write under a pen name. And then that just sort of morphed and became a thing. But I think it's cleaner. I think, you know, people recognize Ellie. They know me as Ellie. So I don't want to start all over with another name. So
if we have to start new social media channels, I'm quitting.
Yeah, he's done. The tech guy's out.
Oh, this is a good one.
Oh, Becky. Meg, I am working on it. So going back to that question about what's better, traditional versus independent, you know, like one of the cons of traditional publishing is if the publisher ends up not doing anything with a book. So the Meg books were a 5-book series. I had started writing The Bake Shop and my energy was just really there. Meg kind of ended cleanly at the time. And since then, that publishing house has just done nothing with them. And they have just sat there. So then there's this whole process that you have to do contractually to try to get your rights back. So I have been in that process for a while. And once I get my rights back to that series, my goal is to do a quick revamp of all of them. So they would all definitely have new covers that match the vision that I had from the get-go. None of those covers ever, you know, it's like for this, I'm like, yes, that's what I want. Bake Shop, yes. Sloan, yes. But in any event, those are the books that got me started. So I'm so grateful to them. But what I would like to do in my big vision would be, when I get those rights back, I would do a revamp so they'd get a fresh edit and clean up and brand new covers. And then I would release the whole series again as Ellie and continue writing them. I have this idea for bringing Meg back about 10 years later, that she's been out traveling, she's done her thing. I actually have like the whole plot sketched out, but I haven't started writing it. So yeah. What do you call me, Ellie or Kate? I feel bad not knowing. I know, you can call me either. I answer to either. It's just so funny because, Kate is my real name, but everybody in the world knows me as Ellie, and even friends call me Ellie sometimes. Especially here. It's so funny. And then they'll apologize. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I answer to either. So, yeah.
Oh, this is
do you think the pandemic has hurt or helped book sales? Oh, that's a great question, Cindy. I think it's helped book sales. I think there's been a real resurgence of reading in the pandemic. I definitely think ebooks, shot up. I don't think that that will ever change. The other thing that I think is fascinating, and I don't know if this is just a product of where we already were, culturally speaking, or if this is also the pandemic, but novellas, shorts, anything that's 100 pages or less has been so hot lately, which is one of the reasons that I'm like, and you all have inspired me. I like doing our collaboration together. I never had even imagined doing something like that. But I do think the resurgence of kind of this short stories, novellas, novelettes, whatever, like combination of them, in part is just because, we have so much else emotionally and in our headspace that it's probably easier. And I know myself, I shared this. There have been multiple times as a prolific reader that I was like, oh my gosh, everything that I'm reading, I can't finish, and it's good stuff. And then I read Murderbot, some shorts, or then I read An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good, again, some shorts that kind of like sparked it. So it'll be interesting to see, like, is that a trend that hangs out for a few years and then evolves again and you start to see, like Dune length novels? Or is that something that's going to stick around? I don't know, but I think it's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many.
There's so many more. Okay, we probably have time for what, like one more? Aren't you tired of hearing?
We're gonna do a couple of speed ones. So first of all, I'll answer this.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Working on them. They'll be up soon.
They're gonna be beach themed, right?
Right. That.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
It's on sale now.
It's on for pre-order.
For pre-order, Missy. It will be out March 29th. But happy birthday. I hope you're doing something fabulous. My sister's birthday is February 6th, so you're right there with her.
Okay, everybody needs to start chanting in the comments, fainting turtleneck guy. Fainting turtleneck guy. Fainting turtleneck guy. I don't know if we have time for this story, but it is the most epic
I've
one
never
ever.
told this story though, because yeah.
Fainting turtleneck guy could be on the live.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Weirdest fan encounter for sure.
We'll save that one. That's a teaser. I have to think about that one.
Okay. All right. Is there one more up here that you would like to answer before?
Yeah, just pick one.
Since we talked about Meg, let's talk about
Melmac. That would be the same because that's all with the same publishing house. That's the first few series that I wrote as Kate. And so the goal is I would get all of those back as part of a package and they would be re-released under Ellie. So that would be great.
It's kind of related. I don't know if you want
Sure.
to go into it. Okay.
I never thought about books having rights. Did you get Sloane's because it ended or did they give it to you? Well, in this case, like what's happened with a lot of my author friends is if a publisher decides not to extend a contract on a series, you can keep writing them from there on out because like I, as the author, own the content, right? I created the content. I own the content. The issue with my other series is that they're basically out of print. You can't find them. So with Sloane's not going away anytime soon. Like paperback sales are fantastic. Cure for What Ails You won't even come out in paperback until October. So I don't think it's in danger of vanishing. The problem is if your backlist disappears and goes out of print, the goal in writing a series is that you constantly have new readers discovering it too. So like with the Meg series, for example, 2 out of the 5 books are out of print. You can't get them. So that's the goal in terms of getting my rights back because then I would re-release all 5 of them. So the previous 5 would be out and available. And then if I continued that series, you know, it would keep going. So that's kind of the, does that make sense? The issue? Yeah. If you need help, let me know. I know a guy, Q Godfather Music. Yeah. There it is. Yeah.
And then real quick, Chase, Murder Bot. B-O-T is in Tom.
Martha Wells.
Martha Wells.
Yeah.
Awesome series.
Great series.
The first 4 or 5 books in that series are really short. They're like novellas.
Yeah,
they're under
novellas,
200 pages, but yeah, it's great. So
yeah. Oh boy, that was a lot. Oh, there's still more.
No,
I know, but
still,
nobody.
Yeah,
You don't want to get me talk anymore.
Yeah,
No, you don't. We've been here for
we
an
could
hour.
go another
y'all.
hour. So yeah.
On that
Well,
note,
we'll save these because we'll
these.
do another one.
We'll save these. At some point. I gotta decide if I can tell that fan encounter at some point.
Yeah, George knows. Yeah.
George knows.
Yeah.
George loves them too. Let's see. The tech guy and I are brainstorming what's coming up next for social for the next couple months. So if you have other ideas or suggestions that you want to do for our lives, like please message me, or I'll do a post about it tomorrow because we have some ideas. But I'm always like, I don't know what do we want to do. We are a group, so.
Yeah, well, and it's a lot of work, so it'd be great if everybody really wanted to come to the things.
Yeah. Oh, yay. All right. On that note, I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week and happy reading.